Streaming this podcast. Why do we have a bad signal? There we go.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Using gerrymandering, voter suppression, and other nefarious tactics, the Republican Party has manipulated our electoral system to maintain as much control as possible despite being a party in the minority. Liberal Dan Radio seeks to change that, and I need your help in doing so. Liberal Dan Radio has partnered with Levelfield to help us use tools that are typically only available to big money donors. When you go to stopthecoup.liberaldan.com and make your contribution, it will encourage other voters to reach out to their legislators to pass legislation to stop gerrymandering and voter suppression, and target elected officials who refuse to protect the vote. Every eligible voter should be able to cast a ballot, and that ballot should have the same power as everyone else. I can't do this alone. I need your help. So please go to stopthecoup.liberaldan.com and make your contribution today. That's stopthecoup.liberaldan.com. stopthecoup.liberaldan.com. Political advertising paid for by Levelfield. Contributions are not tax deductible as charitable contributions. Welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. To join the conversation, it's area code 914-803-4131. That is 914-803-4131. If you are a Blog Talk Radio member, which is free, you can always go to the episode page, blogtalkradio.com/liberaldan. Go to the bottom of the screen once you're logged in, and you could join us in the chat room over there. And if you're watching live on YouTube, you could also make sure to subscribe to the channel. You don't have to join in and participate, but make sure to subscribe to the channel, and you can leave your comments, questions in the chat as well. And if you're listening after the live broadcast, you can always leave your comments, questions, concerns, etc. over on the show thread at liberaldan.com, at facebook.com/liberaldan, or at liberaldanradio on Twitter. Or if you're here on YouTube, you could always leave your comments on the YouTube comment section as well. We are not doing a bunch of the bits that we would normally do today, because we do have a bunch of stuff to talk about, and nobody has sponsored a bit, so I don't have to worry about making sure to fulfill that part of my obligations. Obviously, I do want people to sponsor those bits, Hypocrite of the Week, Words of Redneck Wisdom, etc. So I'd be more than happy to have y'all sponsor those, but since we're not at that point yet, we will sometimes we skip a week or two on the bits, just to see what's going on now. The next week, starting next week, there'll be a very special Liberal Dan Radio introduction to the show, and that if you've listened to the show before, you'll know that what is coming, and if not, it'll be holiday themed intro that I play, and you might even get early access to it if you sign up for the Liberal Dan Radio Patreon. So that's one of the best ways to support the show, is supporting the Patreon, patreon.com/liberaldan. You can also shouts out to Demonox, the first Liberal Dan Radio patron, and also to my good buddy Cesar out in California, and your boy Chris, who have all supported Liberal Dan Radio via the Patreon. But of course, if you can't afford a monthly payment, there's also the Buy Me a Coffee option or the Buy Me a Cider option at liberaldan.com. And there is also just subscribing here and to all of my other social media platforms. And that is another way to support the podcast and support the show and the channel. So lots of stuff to talk about this week. Of course, Bringing a Boy is in the chat with us. Bringing a Boy is the first I see that there is a like, so I believe you. I would have believed you anyway, but it does show up as having 1 like on the podcast, and 2 concurrent viewers, one of which I guess is me or my other account that I, basically monitor it with just in case, see what's going on. But, I appreciate you bringing a boy. Welcome. And again, we're going to be talking a little bit about Rittenhouse because the Rittenhouse verdict took place after last week's podcast. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We'll be talking about the McMichaels and William Bryan, and the verdicts in the Ahmaud Arbery killing case. So, that was a big. I was kind of hoping that it would come out today, that the ruling would be made by today, and of course it was. So there's that, and then we're going to be getting a little bit into affirmative defenses. I had a whole bunch of information up about affirmative defenses on my screens, and because my computer needed a mandatory, or there was some mandatory reboot that it had to do, I lost it all. So I'll just go back into the history, I guess, and see. But we'll catch that up during our commercial break. But that's the way things go, I guess. Plus, I'm also fighting a little bit of a bad back, so I haven't been feeling the best today, unfortunately. Fortunately, we have a 4-day weekend, being a Turkey Day and all. Although we do have, if you're local to New Orleans, I am hosting trivia at a local cidery at Broad Street Cider on Friday night. So if you happen to be in New Orleans and you want to join us for trivia, I will be the host, and it should be interesting trivia questions that I'll be asking. Normally I don't run the trivia, but I did want to run it at least once, just to figure it would be fun, and well, I came up with some interesting questions. So that'll be fun. And if it don't have a lot of turnout because it's Black Friday, well,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Anyway, Kyle Rittenhouse obviously found not guilty of all the charges. I think one of the most disgusting things that I saw was the outside of that is the fact that Steven Crowder, the Louder with Crowder, his thing, they did a live stream and they're all like, yeah, like like their winning team just scored a touchdown or something, or won the Super Bowl. Like it affects their lives, greatly, because this kid got off with killing these people. And again, I predicted here on the podcast, despite the fact that I disagree with the ruling, I did predict that he would be not guilty with almost everything. I posted that before the show. And I also believed that, if he was guilty of the weapons charge, which eventually got tossed after I made that video that Monday, I figured that would have been overturned on appeal anyway. So